After having this 1500,000 prosumer espresso machine for about 1.5 years, I can tell you in details from a real owner and hobbyist perspective, not a YouTube reviewer, the pros and cons against the Gaggia Classic E24, a machine that is 70% cheaper. First of all, why I bought my ECM. This machine has native PID and pressure gauge, a traditional and trustable brand, a 750 ml single boiler that I believe to be the perfect combination for those who are mainly focused on espressos, and then I could save 500 to 1,000 euros by not buying what I don't need, for example, a dual boiler. On top of that, it has an impressive build quality, almost 100% metal, a stainless steel boiler, durable, and for me longevity was very important, and in my opinion, it's very beautiful, more than any Gaggia or Sylvia. I also like the possibility of adding a flow control later and then having all the tools that I believed that I needed to get the best espresso possible, being only limited by my skills and the grinder after this point. But what my previous experiences were telling me. In 2022, I tested with my friend Thales from Non So Barista my Cycle Bohemia modded with PID, dimmer and pressure gauge, and we were already able to get very similar cups that we got from his Nuova Simonelli Appia 2, a machine that doesn't have PID, but it's commercial grade for small coffee shops. If you want to check, I'll leave the card here for this video, but it's in Portuguese, okay? 2 years later, I tested my upgraded Ventilio Sylvia against the ECM and the conclusion was the same. Very similar cups, not noticeable in a day-to-day basis. I got espressos that I could see the difference only side-by-side tests, and I'll also leave a card here in case you haven't seen. But I had to test the E24 and see what a brass boiler adds compared to the traditional aluminum boilers used by Gaggia, and after a lot of tests, I can detail here the main differences between the E24 and the Classica PID and why you could opt for one or the other. They're the same type of machine, single boilers. They have a vibratory pump, but they have some difference in the construction. So this boiler is 100% brass boiler and group, and this one is an E61 group with a stainless steel boiler. This is a 750 mils boiler, and this has about 100 mils, but they have similar temperature stability. The E61 group, some people say that it may lead to unpredictable temperatures and unpredictable temperature stability if you leave the machine heating for more than an hour and a half. But I tested and I didn't observe this, at least not in a machine with a single boiler and PID. The other difference that you can see is that this machine comes with the pressure gauge, PID is a stock, the OPV is adjustable. I used between 7 and 9 bar. 7 is the minimum. I can't achieve less than 7 with this machine and the OPV that is inside. Maybe I can change the spring, but I think 7 is okay. This machine has not adjustable OPV, but I changed the spring. This one has the 6.5 bar spring, so they are at the same, very similar pressure now. In this machine you have a good space between your cup and your portafilter. In this one, it's very tight. So it's about 2 centimeters less in this configuration. But we have some workarounds like this stand that you can put your scale. You get almost the same clearance. Another difference that is relevant for me is that this drip tray has 900 mils in volume, 1 liter, but to be comfortable when you are removing and not making a mess, a bit more than 900 mils. And in the Gaggia Classic, I wouldn't go beyond 600 mils. This means that I have to empty this drip tray every 3 days in average, and the ECM every 5 days. The water tank here has 2.8 liters. This one has 2.1, and then you also have to refill your water tank more frequently if you have a Gaggia Classic. Another small inconvenience is that since this drip tray is narrower, when I'm flushing the group to clean the portafilter, filter and the puck screen, sometimes the water leaks from the front. If you make more than 1 espresso in a row, you would say, well, maybe this is better because it has a 750 mils boiler and you will have better stability. I did a test, and in this Gaggia Classic E24, you can see in my previous video, the time that I take to prepare the next puck was around 4 minutes. In 4 minutes, this machine was able to recover the temperature, and there wasn't a big difference in temperature stability. It increased a bit, the variation in temperature, but not enough for you to feel the difference in the cup. But the PID does make a difference, and this comes stock. I don't know if you have the skills to add the PID. I just posted a video on how to install the easiest way a PID in a Gaggia Classic. I think it's relatively easy. You can save a lot of money if you opt for a setup like this, but you need to modify yourself. In terms of build quality, this machine is much better. It almost doesn't have plastics, only here in the knob, in the water tank. And in a Gaggia Classic, you have the water tank, you have the drip tray, the lid here, the cover for the water tank. And inside you have the OPV, that it's also plastic. Here is all brass or stainless steel. So it feels that this machine is more durable, but the Gaggia Classic, as we observed, can last for decades. And it was lasting decades with the aluminum boiler. With the brass boiler, I think the longevity increases. You have much less issues with scaling and corrosion. Still on the advantages for the ECM is the portafilter. This is a universal portafilter. It fits almost every 58 millimeters espresso machine, but the Gaggia Classic has these angled ears. It only fits the Gaggia Classic. For me, it's very annoying because I don't have commonality between my machines. Or maybe you don't have more than one machine, but it's easier to find the portafilters. For example, if you want to buy the bottomless for the E61 groups than the Gaggia Classic. Still in the materials, this machine has a stainless steel boiler. This one has a brass boiler. The stainless steel tends to be more resistant to corrosion and scaling, but I don't know if there's a big advantage in being stainless steel. I think this brass boiler is perfectly fine. But for those who steam, this machine can be better because with 750 mils you will have much more volume for your steam. Here with 100 mils inside, the space for the steam to be accumulated is much less. But the people who steam, they are perfectly able to make their lattes in a Gaggia Classic. One thing that I believe that should be stocked at this price range, I would like to have the flow control, like we see in the Lily Bianca. It's a different price range. The Lily Bianca is much more expensive, but if you buy the flow control for this machine, you're gonna pay around 200 euros. And if it came stock, I think it would cost maybe 100, 150 euros more. It's much cheaper for the manufacturers to provide these parts. And why I would like to have the flow control? Because you can do pressure profiling, flow profiling. You have more capabilities to pre-infuse your coffee, and then you have more tools if you want to explore other beans. You can have decreasing pressure and then less chance to break your cup and have channeling. The Gaggia Classic doesn't come with any kind of flow control as well. You need to add a dimmer. You can also add a dimmer in this machine because it has a vibratory pump. But it's, I think, incoherent with this level of finish. And then talking about aesthetics, I think that this machine is much more beautiful. You may say that this is very personal, and it is. Some people may prefer the colorful machines. I'm more conservative, but this stainless steel construction has no comparison for me. But what advantages the Gaggia Classic has against the ECM? Of course, the price. It's much cheaper. It heats much quicker. This machine will be ready to brew in 10 minutes. This one will take 25 minutes. There are some tweaks. You can use, for example, the steam button to accelerate, but then you need to kind of surf your machine. You will need to know when to turn off the steam button. Otherwise, you will have to wait a lot for the water to cool down. Then, of course, you're going to be more sustainable with this machine, and you're going to spend less on your energy bills. But the heating time was never an issue for me. In the early mornings, I use a smart plug. I programmed the day before so that the machine is heated when I want to extract my espresso. This one, I don't need to do that because I take more than 10 minutes to get ready to leave. And then I just turn it on and I brew my shot when I'm ready. But just because I have the convenience of the PID. Otherwise, I would have to wait for the temperature to reach the point, the ideal point for extraction, and it may take 4 minutes, which can be a difference for me sometimes. For some people, the size may be an issue, right? This machine, these two machines, they have almost the same width, 20 centimeters in width. This one is 24.5 in height. This machine is 40 centimeters. This one, without the extra legs, is 35, and with the legs, 39. So with the legs, they reach the same height. In depth, they have 45 for the ECM against 24 for the Gaggia. So a bit more compact, but in some counters, it may be the difference between fitting or not. And this one is much heavier. The ECM weighs 18.5 kilos and the Gaggia 8.5. Another thing that may be an issue for you is that this group gets super hot and it's very easy to get burned in an E61 group. I know lots of people who got burned, nothing very serious, but maybe you have small kids and you're concerned with that. I have this machine for 1.5 years. And I think I got burned maybe once or twice, and it was those things that it hurt for maybe 30 seconds, but nothing more than that. However, one thing that annoys me a lot is this lever that needs to be lubricated every 1 or 2 months, depending on how frequent I use Cafisa to clean my group. So I tend to open and lubricate the lever every 1 or 2 months, and it's extra work in your maintenance. The only difference between those two machines is the machine and the portafilter, because one doesn't fit the other. The rest is the same water, same coffee, same grind size. I'll try to extract the same ratio, and let's see if the time will be the same. I'll also change the baskets so that we can minimize the noise from other factors and try to focus only on the difference between the two machines. Let's try to get 40.8. So this one was 39.3, a little bit less. Okay, 46.5 against 47.5. First, the Gaggia Classic. Now, ECM. They're very, very similar. It's very difficult to tell the difference between the two. If we had a blind test with 3 cups, I would probably fail. Maybe there's a little more body in the one from the Gaggia Classic. Minimum difference. Yeah, so in the cup, on a day-to-day basis, when you don't do side-by-side tests, you wouldn't see the difference between the two machines. Well, I'm telling about the average user like me. I'm not a Q grader. I'm not a professional in the coffee industry, just a hobbyist. And for me, I can't tell the difference. So the E24 is by far the best cost benefit, especially with the brass boiler. I think the aluminum boiler would be the only thing that would make me buy an ECM Classika PID or, I don't know, Ranchillo Silvia instead of the Gaggia Classic. But now that it has a brass boiler, I'm pretty happy with this machine. In this hobby, there are a lot of people pushing for you to buy more expensive gear. I think there's an industry of reviews. In my case, it's just a hobby. I'm not doing reviews to make money out of the commission. If you saw my previous video about the E24, this machine was not being sold on Amazon, so I couldn't benefit of any affiliate link. And coincidence or not, there are not many YouTubers reviewing the E24. I think a lot of people buy stuff because of the fear of missing out. There's a big hype on machines, on grinders, accessories, filter baskets, portafilters, whatever you want. But my style is more making smart investments. So I'm thinking about selling the ECM because it's a lot of money. And if I'm honest to myself, I don't need the extra capabilities that it has to offer. And I can get the same coffee from a machine that costs about 3 times less. But again, this is me. Everyone has a different situation, different priorities. There's no right or wrong. I just wanted to bring some objective information for you to make your choice. And maybe instead of spending €1,000 more in an espresso machine, you can use this money to buy a better grinder, which will make more difference in your cup. But I don't know, maybe as a pulse check on this audience, tell me what is your preference if you're more like investing more money in a machine like the ECM, or if you prefer to save this money and buy the Gaggia Classic. And if you think that this video was helpful, don't forget to give your like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.